AITA for canceling a $14,000 family trip after they replaced me with my brother's girlfriend? They invited me to a family dinner and, at that same table, informed me that I was no longer going on the family trip for which I had paid almost $14,000. We gave your spot to your brother's fiancé. You have to understand. I smiled. Sure, I understand perfectly. It is just that you forgot a detail. I was at my desk, looking at quarterly sales reports when my cell phone vibrated. Mom appeared on the screen. I almost let it go to voicemail. Thursdays were always chaos at the tech firm where I worked as a senior account manager. A constant juggle of demanding clients, pending tasks, and people who believed everything was urgent for yesterday. At that hour my brain was done, but something made me answer. What happened, Mom? Chloe, I am so glad I caught you. Listen, are you free this Saturday evening? Your dad and I want you to come over for dinner around 6. But what is it about? Or she hung up before I could ask her anything else. I stared at the phone with a weird feeling. My mom sounded excited, as if she were keeping a secret. And I did not like it when my family got mysterious. It was almost always because a request was coming. I thought it had to do with the trip to Italy. In 2 weeks, we were leaving for Rome for a 10-day vacation that I had spent months planning. The plan had been mine. I had killed myself working for the last 3 years, logging extremely long weeks, facing unforgiving targets, and dealing with clients who speak to you as if they were doing you a favor. I finally had enough vacation days and some money saved up to give my family something nice. Italy had always been my dream. The food, the history, the museums. I had stayed up late searching for hotels, reviewing routes, buying tickets, and taking care of details so that everything would turn out well. My parents, Michael and Maria, were already retired. My dad worked for years as a general contractor until his back sent him the bill. My mom was an office manager until she got laid off when the company downsized. Since then, money had been tight and I knew it. That is why I decided to pay. Flights, hotels, meals, transfers, everything. Cost me almost $14,000. It was a lot, yes, but I told myself it was worth it just to see them happy without worries, without that look of wondering how to make ends meet. My younger brother Kevin was also coming. He was 26 and was still finding himself. He worked part-time at a big box store and lived in a tiny apartment in Logan Square, one of those places where you hear everything and nothing is well maintained. I also covered his part of the trip because he could not afford something like that. Besides, I had been helping him with his rent and car insurance for the last 2 years. Not because I had extra, but because it made me feel bad to see him sinking. Kevin was not a bad person. He just let himself drift as if life were going to arrange itself. And for about 8 months he had been dating Jessica. I had seen Jessica a few times at barbecues, birthdays, and quick gatherings. She was polite when she wanted to be, but she had a way of speaking as if the whole world owed her something. She worked at a high-end nail salon and always brought up the subject of fine things, expensive places, of what a woman deserves. Kevin was fascinated with her. He showed us photos on his phone, repeated how lucky he was, and his face lit up every time she sent him a message. On Saturday, I arrived at my parents' house in Naperville around 5:30. My mom opened the door with a huge smile, too big. The type of smile that is not from joy but from nerves. My little girl, so good that you are here, come inside. My dad was in his usual armchair with the TV off, as if waiting for the moment. And in the dining room, Kevin and Jessica were already there. They exchanged a look and then glanced at me, as if sharing a private joke I was not part of. We sat down. The table was set with the special occasion china. That also set off an alarm for me. My mom did not take out that china even for Christmas. We ate and talked about random things, my work, how life was going, how the traffic on the expressway was impossible. But the atmosphere was tense, like when someone is waiting for a bomb to go off. When we finished the main course, my mom cleared her throat. Chloe, honey, your dad and I want to talk to you about something important. The color drained from my face. What happened? Are you okay? Is someone sick? No, nothing like that, said my dad, and his voice trembled a little. It is about the trip. I felt relief, literally, as if a weight were lifted from my chest. Oh, well, you scared me. My dad looked at my mom. My mom looked at her napkin as if the answer were there. It is just that Jessica is coming with us. I blinked, not understanding the problem. Oh, well, that's great. She can buy her flight and we will see about the hotel. If she can't get into the same one, she can stay nearby on her own. Kevin adjusted himself in his chair. Actually, there are no seats left on that flight, my mom said softly. And the hotel is already fully booked for those dates. I frowned. Well, she can fly on another day and stay at another hotel. Rome always has options if you search ahead of time. Kevin turned red, but not from embarrassment, from anger. I do not want Jessica to be in another hotel. I want her to be with me. In the same room. I looked at him, trying to stay calm. Okay. And what does that have to do with me? I mean, what do you want me to do? My mom inhaled as if she were preparing for an exam. We already talked about it, she said. And we decided that you should not go. I did not understand. Literally. What do you mean I should not go? Well, yes, my dad said more directly. That way Jessica can take your room. And we do not have to move anything. I froze. Excuse me. My mom hurried as if wanting to soften it. Look, we already figured out how to accommodate ourselves. You and Kevin had 2 rooms reserved. So your dad and I will keep our room. Kevin and Jessica will stay in the one that was for you. That way they won't be separated. I felt as if they had punched me in the stomach. It was even hard to breathe. You are telling me that you are kicking me off the trip that I paid for? The 3 of them scrunched up their faces as if I were saying something in bad taste. Chloe, said Kevin with a coldness I did not know he had. You make good money. Do not exaggerate. Besides, you spend your time reminding us that you help the family. I stared at him in disbelief. Kevin, I paid for the whole trip, everything. Almost $14,000. The silence that fell was heavy. My mom fixed her hair nervously and then let out the worst part, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. If you really want to go to Italy, you can buy another flight and look for another hotel on your own. And they laughed. My dad let out an uncomfortable little laugh. My mom covered her mouth as if it were a prank. Kevin smiled. Jessica tried to hide her smile with her hand, but you could see it in her eyes. They really thought it was funny. I swallowed hard. I felt my face burning. I forced myself to smile. The kind of smile that comes out when you do not want to cry right there. Yes, I understand. And I sat there for an hour watching them get excited, talking about gelato, the Colosseum, the photos at the Vatican, the restaurants Jessica wanted to post stories from. It was as if I no longer existed. They had removed me from their plan and that was it. Nobody noticed when I got up slowly. I grabbed my jacket and walked toward the door. Outside, the cool night air hit me in the face. My hands were shaking while I looked for my keys. I got in the car, took a deep breath, and drove to my apartment in Lincoln Park with my mind racing. I sat for a few minutes in the parking garage, staring at the steering wheel as if that would settle something inside me. Then I went up, opened the door, went in and broke down crying. I cried until no more tears came out. I fell asleep on the couch with my clothes on. On Sunday, I woke up with swollen eyes and a sore back from sleeping crooked. For a second I remembered nothing, and then like a wave, the dinner, the laughter, the phrase, "You are not going," crashed down on me again. I felt nauseous. The cell phone vibrated on the coffee table. Mom again. A part of me wanted to ignore it, but another part, the part that still expected the best from them, thought, maybe they regretted it. Maybe they are going to apologize. I answered. Hello. Chloe, how good. You are already awake, my mom said with a cheerful voice, as if nothing had happened yesterday. Hey, Kevin and Jessica want to have their engagement party when we get back. And we thought that you could pay for it. I froze. What? They want to have it at a very nice Italian restaurant in River North, one called Giovanni's, you know, one of those elegant ones. Jessica loves it, and well, we thought it would be a very nice gesture on your part as an older sister. A gesture after kicking me off the trip I paid for. Ah, I said, and my voice came out too calm. Yes, sure. I will happily pay for it. I knew you would not let us down, my mom said, relieved. Jessica is going to be so excited. I stared at the wall, and something inside me settled. Not in a nice way. Sure, just one thing, I said. Give me Jessica's number. I want to speak directly with her about what she wants for the party. How considerate you are, honey, said my mom, delighted. I will send it to you right now. She hung up. I stayed with the cell phone in my hand, and for the first time since dinner I smiled. But it was not a happy smile. It was the smile that comes out when you finally understand something you had been denying to yourself for years. They did not see me as a daughter or sister. They saw me as a solution, as a credit card, as an ATM. And a plan occurred to me. First things first, I called the hotel in Rome and canceled the rooms I had reserved, all of them. The cancellation fee was several $100s. My voice did not even tremble. I paid and hung up, and it was as if a stone was lifted from my chest. Step 1. The next day Jessica called me just as my mom said. "Hello, Chloe. It is Jessica. Your mom gave me your number. I am so excited about the party." "Me too," I said with a sweetness that honestly even surprised me. "Let's meet to discuss ideas, so we can organize it well." Yes. Can you meet at a coffee shop in Wicker Park? There is one that has amazing pastries. We agreed. I arrived early. I ordered a latte and sat near the window. Jessica arrived on time with a designer handbag that I knew cost more than what Kevin earned in a month. She greeted me with an overly confident hug, as if we were close friends. "Seriously, thank you," she said. "I mean, I already knew that you are the one who pays for everything in Kevin's family, so I thought this was not going to be a problem." It burned me inside, but on the outside I remained the same. "Of course," I said. "Let's see, tell me, what do you have in mind?" Her eyes lit up. "I want something unforgettable. Something people will talk about for months. Okay, I am thinking, I do not know, 50 guests, maybe 60. "Wow. And live music," she said, as if she were asking for napkins. "Not a DJ, live music." "Perfect. And real flowers everywhere. No fake flowers, so it looks elegant." I nodded as if it were nothing. "And a professional photographer," she added without breathing. "Because obviously I want nice photos. Oh, and a chocolate fountain. I have always wanted a chocolate fountain." "I love the idea," I said. She took out her cell phone and started showing me images. "Look at this setup, is it not gorgeous? Just the flowers must be like $2,000. But it is worth it." "Of course," I said, smiling. "It is worth it. And the band I want charges like $1,500 for the night, but they are really good. I saw them at my cousin's wedding." I was adding it up mentally without a muscle moving on my face. "And for the toast," she said, "I want good champagne, not one of those that taste weird. It has to show class." "Wow. Oh, and the dress," she blurted out as if it were obvious. "I need a new one, something like a future bride but without looking like a wedding. I saw a gorgeous one at Nordstrom for about $500. I thought, well, if you are already paying for everything else." She made a gesture like, "Whatever." But her eyes said, "Do not even think about saying no." "It is fine," I told her. "I want you to feel perfect." Jessica almost sighed with pleasure. "You are the best future sister-in-law. Seriously." We continued for another hour. Everything was the best, the prettiest, the finest. Special appetizers, expensive desserts, complete decoration, details to make it look like a magazine. When we finally said goodbye, my estimate was clear. That party was easily going to cost over $10,000. "It is going to be the best engagement party," Jessica said, already standing up. "I am sure it is going to look incredible on Instagram. My friends are going to die of envy." "Yes," I told her with the same calm. "Post it. Let everyone get excited." That night Jessica sent me a link. I opened her Instagram post. There she was with emojis, inspiration photos, and a text that basically said that Kevin's incredible sister was organizing a spectacular party for them at Giovanni's with a live band, gourmet food, an expensive champagne toast, everything. The post already had a bunch of comments. "Congratulations," excited faces, people saying, "What luck! How cool! Next level." I took a screenshot, saved it, then left the cell phone on the table and laughed. But not a joke laugh, a laugh of, I cannot believe they are like this. There were 2 weeks left until the flight, 2 weeks for them to get more excited, 2 weeks for Jessica to keep bragging about her party and my family to keep believing that I was going to solve everything as always. The 2 weeks went by fast. In that time I hardly heard from them. Kevin sent me a message once. "Thanks for the party stuff, really?" My mom called me to check if I was okay because she noticed I was distant. I told her I was slammed with work. Jessica sent me new ideas for the party, each one more expensive than the last. And when there were 3 days left until their departure, I made another call. Since I had bought the flights with my card and had the confirmation number, I was able to manage the cancellation of the return tickets without touching the outbound ones. They charged me a penalty fee, of course, but it did not even hurt. Now, if they wanted to return, they had to pay for new tickets with their own money. The night before their departure, I almost did not sleep. Part of me felt guilty. They were my parents, it was my brother. I had good memories with them. Birthdays, efforts, family moments. But then I remembered their laughter at dinner, the way they looked at me as if I were exaggerating for not letting myself be treated that way, and the guilt went down like a light you turn off. Their flight left at 6 in the morning. That implied leaving for O'Hare International Airport around 4. I offered to take them. Part of me did it because that is how I am, and part of me did it because I wanted to see the start of it all. The alarm rang at 3:30. I got dressed, grabbed my keys, and went out. When I arrived at my parents' house, the 4 of them were already outside with their suitcases. They looked excited and sleepless. "Chloe, you are an angel," my mom said, hugging me. "I cannot believe you got up at this hour just to take us." "Anything for family," I said while opening the trunk. On the way, they did not stop talking. My dad said he wanted to see the Colosseum with his own eyes. My mom talked about the museums and eating delicious food. Kevin was thrilled with romantic dinners. Jessica repeated constantly about the photos, the stories, the outfits. We arrived at the airport, and I helped them unload the suitcases. The departures area was full, even at that hour. People dragging suitcases, sleepy eyes, announcements over speakers. At that hour, the city was half empty, but the airport was already awake. "Are you sure you do not want to come in with us?" my mom asked. "We can have a coffee while we wait." "No, I have to go," I lied. "I have a meeting early." It was a lie. I was going to go back home, sleep for a while, and then live my life without looking out for anyone. My mom hugged me tight. "You are such a responsible daughter, Chloe. We can always count on you." I felt like telling her everything right there. But no, I just smiled. "Have an incredible trip," I said. "Really enjoy." I hugged them one by one. Jessica was the last. "Thanks again for the party," she said. "I promise it is going to be spectacular. You are the best future sister-in-law." I watched them walk toward the security checkpoint, pulling their suitcases. Kevin had his arm over Jessica's shoulders. My parents were holding hands as if they were sweethearts. They looked happy. In a few hours, everything was going to change. I returned to my apartment. I tried to sleep, but I could not. My head replayed scenes like a movie. I imagined their arrival in Rome, the taxi, the lobby, the front desk, the agent checking the computer and saying, "I do not see a reservation." I decided that for the next couple of days I was not going to be available. I was not going to fix anything for them. I put my cell phone in a drawer and went for a run. I needed to get out the energy that was eating me up inside. The morning air hit my face, and for the first time in weeks, I felt something similar to freedom. I ran through streets that I always saw in a rush, and today they seemed different to me. Then I showered, changed, and since it was mid-morning and traffic had not gotten heavy yet, I drove to a coffee shop on the other side of the city. I ordered a light breakfast and sat at a small table outside with the sun on me. In the afternoon, I went to my friend Sarah's house. She lived about 20 minutes away. I knew her from college. I did not tell her the whole drama in luxurious detail. I just told her that my trip to Italy fell through and that my head was in a knot. "How awful," said Sarah, sitting with me. "But hey, if you are no longer traveling, come with us this weekend. Marco and I were going to go camping at Starved Rock. You need to breathe." I would not want to be in the way. "No way. It is going to be great. We can hike, make a little bonfire, roast marshmallows. You can disconnect a little." It sounded perfect to me. "Okay," I said. "I am in." We leave early Friday and come back Monday. Bring comfortable clothes and hiking boots. That afternoon we talked about normal things. Work gossip, TV shows, Sarah's new relationship. It did me good to be a person, not a wallet with legs. 2 days after the flight, in the afternoon, I took the cell phone out of the drawer and turned it on. It started vibrating like crazy. Notifications, missed calls, text messages, voicemails, everything was from them. I read the messages first. Chloe, call me as soon as you can. Urgent. Something happened with the hotel. Chloe, please answer. There is a problem. They say there is no reservation. We need help. Chloe, please. The hotel says we do not have a room. What is happening? There were many missed calls. I did not listen to the voicemails. I did not need to. I could imagine the tones perfectly. Complaint, panic, demand. Just when I was going to put the cell phone down, it rang again. Mom. I let it ring a few seconds. I answered. Hello. Chloe, thank God. Where were you? We have been trying to reach you for hours, my mom said, almost crying. I was out. What happened? The hotel. They say there is no record of our reservation. We have nowhere to stay. I breathed slowly. Oh yes. That is because I canceled it. Silence. And then I heard voices in the background. Kevin shouting something. Jessica sobbing. What do you mean you canceled it? My mom asked with a voice that was no longer sweet. I canceled the rooms. And I also canceled the return flights. Kevin got on the phone furious. What is wrong with you? How could you do this? You are a horrible person. You left us stranded. I leaned against the wall. Calm down. It was easy, Kevin. I called and canceled. Just like you guys canceled me from the trip that I paid for. My mom tried to regain control. Chloe, we are your family. We do not have money to pay for hotels here, nor to buy other return flights. You have to help us. No, I said. I do not have to. But. No, I repeated more firmly. You already made it clear that you only see me as a solution. Well, the solution ran out. I am no longer your ATM. I hung up. And I blocked them. I blocked my mom, my dad, Kevin, and Jessica. I blocked them on calls, texts, and all social media apps. The silence that remained afterward was peace. In the following days, messages started reaching me through other relatives. A cousin wrote to me, and an uncle sent me a long message, all with the same idea, that I should fix what had happened. I did not answer. A week later, my Aunt Elena called me, my dad's sister. She had always been the sensible person in the family. Chloe, my child, what is happening? Your parents called me. They told me that you left them in Italy, and that they do not understand why. I told her everything. From the dinner, to the laughter, to the request for the party, to Jessica speaking as if I were her obligation. My Aunt Elena listened without interrupting me. When I finished, she let out a long sigh. Look, what you did was harsh, but I am not going to tell you that they did not ask for it. Your parents have been leaning on you for years, and your brother got used to you rescuing him. Do you think I went too far? I think you finally defended yourself. It was about time. 2 days later, around mid-afternoon, the doorbell rang. I peeked through the peephole, and there the 4 of them were in my hallway. My mom, my dad, Kevin, and Jessica looked exhausted, with dark circles under their eyes, like people who come from fighting with the world. I knew this conversation was going to happen, so I opened the door. We have to talk, my mom said, and walked in without waiting for permission. The others entered behind her. The air became heavy. They had tense faces, clenched jaws. You ruined everything, my mom said, raising her voice as soon as I closed the door. We had to pay for hotels with a credit card. We had to borrow money to buy return tickets. The whole trip went to the trash because of you. My dad spoke with a contained rage that hurt me but did not break me. We spent days fighting with hotels, with airlines, looking for where to sleep. Instead of enjoying it, it was hell. Kevin took a step forward and pointed with his finger, shaking with anger. And after this, do not even dream that we will invite you to the engagement party. You are not welcome. A laugh came out of me. Not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. Kevin, I said, I never planned to pay for that party. Never. Jessica turned pale. What do you mean no? You said yes. You promised me. I lied to you, I said without raising my voice. Just like you guys lied to me about the family trip. You invited me to dinner just to let me know that you were kicking me out of something I paid for. Jessica opened her mouth in desperation. I already told everyone. I posted it on Instagram. I invited 50 people. I told them about the band, about the venue. What am I going to do? I shrugged. Well, now it is your turn to solve it. My mom approached with that face of "Please think of us. Chloe, you cannot be serious. We are family, you have to help." I looked at her calmly. "I do not have to do anything. I am tired. I am tired of being the one who pays, the one who fixes, the one who solves. I am tired of being treated as if my life did not matter, while my money does." They stood still, as if they really did not recognize me. My dad blinked several times. Kevin pressed his lips together. Jessica looked on the verge of tears, and I realized something. They were surprised. They had really believed that I was always going to say yes. I walked to the door and opened it. "This conversation is over." They did not move. My mom tried to say something. I did not let her. I firmly guided them toward the hallway step by step, until the four were outside. "When you are ready to apologize for real, we will talk," I said. "Meanwhile, do not look for me." I closed the door, locked it, leaned against the wood, and heard murmurs and complaints on the other side. They stayed for a while arguing until finally they left. The next week I received an email from Kevin. It said that because of my behavior and what I did to them in Italy, they had decided to cut contact temporarily with me. He said I should not look for them and that when I was ready to fix it and apologize, maybe they would reconsider. I read it twice. And I did not delete it. Instead of feeling sad, I felt relief. A weird relief, like taking off a heavy backpack I had not realized I was carrying every day. That weekend, I went camping with Sarah and Marco. We hiked on trails and breathed in the cold mountain air. We sat by a campfire, roasted marshmallows, drank hot coffee, and stared at the sky full of stars. For 3 days I did not think about my family, feel any guilt, or check my cell phone every 5 minutes in case something had happened. When I returned to work the next week, I walked in with an energy that not even I recognized. I focused advanced projects and closed pending items I had been dragging. A few weeks later, my boss called me into her office. "Chloe," she said, "I have noticed your work. You have been very solid. How would you feel about a promotion to senior account director? It comes with a 30% raise." I felt my chest open as if finally my life was moving forward. "I would feel very good," I said. And I smiled. "For real this time. Perfect. We will make it official soon." A few months later, my Aunt Elena called me again. "Let me tell you something," she said. "Kevin and Jessica had their engagement party last weekend." "Oh, really? And how did it go?" "At your parents' house," she told me. And she let out a light laugh. "Your mom made sandwiches. She bought a big cake from the supermarket. It was something very simple." Jessica looked disappointed, honestly. I did not say anything. I just felt a small, silent satisfaction, like when the world finally puts things in their place. "And another thing," added my aunt. "Your parents told everyone that you did not go due to inappropriate behavior." People were left confused. Nobody understood. Oh well. That was 6 months ago. I am fine. I am better than I have been in years. With my promotion I earn more than before, and for the first time my money goes to things that I want, not to putting out other people's fires. I have gone on 2 trips with friends, I bought a decent car, and I moved to a nicer apartment. My parents and my brother still believe that I am the villain of the story, that I went too far, that I was cruel. But I also know something else. If I had not stood my ground, nothing would have changed. They would have squeezed me until the last dollar, until the last vacation day, until the last drop of patience. And then they would have asked me for more, as if it were an obligation. I am not waiting for their apology. I am busy living my life. Finally, without caring, people who only valued me for my wallet. I understood something that took me years to accept. Sometimes you confuse love with obligation and end up believing that being a good daughter means enduring, staying silent, and paying so that everyone else is happy. I also thought that if I gave more, someday they were going to value me differently. But when they laughed at me and treated me as if my place did not matter, I finally saw the truth. My affection is big, but it does not have to cost me my peace. Comment. It's tough when you realize your kindness is being mistaken for an obligation. Setting boundaries is not an act of aggression, but an act of profound self-respect. You are not responsible for managing how others react to the boundaries you set for your own well-being. Sometimes, choosing your peace means walking away from situations that are determined to misunderstand you. True kindness must always include being kind to yourself first. Healing often begins in the quiet moments after you choose to protect your inner world. Your value is not determined by what you can provide for others. It is defined by the respect you show yourself and the life you build on that foundation. Remember to give your energy to people and pursuits that give back to you. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.